Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and today we are talking about button-up shirts, which is one of my favorite garments, not only to sew, but to wear. We're going to be talking about different patterns, how different fabrics that you may want to use, how you can make them yours, change up details to make something completely different. And then we're also going to talk about then what else you can sew. Like once you've mastered a button-up shirt, there's other things that then you have mastered some skills to work on as well that might seem a little bit daunting. But before we get into that, today is Friday, which means we have a Love Notion Feature Friday pattern, and today it's the Aria, which is why we are doing this video, and I made a new one. I made myself a new Aria. This is a rayon twill from the sewing studio. She still has some of this fabric. It is phenomenal. I used different colored buttons down the front. My YouTube membership voted, and we decided to try it. It's so easy to take buttons off, and if I decide I don't like it, but I went through my stash and found different colored buttons that are all the same size, but they're all different colors of the shirt, and I am very excited about it. Different ones on the cuffs and everything. Anyway, I cannot wait to wear this thing. I'm very excited. But this is my newest Aria. You guys haven't seen this yet, unless you're part of my membership, then you have seen it. But phenomenal pattern, and it is on sale today. And we are in second quarter now, so that means I have a new code to get you 10% off at Love Notions. And this new code for this quarter is Tomcat10. We'll get you an additional 10% off that Feature Friday price. So absolutely you want to add this to your catalog. It is not as hard as it may seem. If you are discouraged about sewing a button-up shirt, if that seems daunting, it seems like it's too hard, that there's no way you can do that, it is not. And I can help you do that. I have got a course, a digital course. I've got it linked down below, Shirt Making 101, where you can use any of these shirt patterns. And I walk you through, because all these shirt patterns, they all go together the same. But I walk you through how to do all the different types of, the collar stand, the camp style collar, all of them, different ways to do cuffs, different ways to do your sleeve plackets. I go through all of it, and I've got a class for that, and it is linked down in the description box below. If you're curious, you can just read about the class if you want to just hit that link to find out what more is in there, but there's a lot of information. I'm very proud of that class. So anyway, I will help you make a button-up shirt. So even if you want to go grab the Aria, you can absolutely use the Aria for any of this, and it's a fantastic one, and it's on sale today. So go grab that if you don't have it already. And there's a dress option and sleeveless and short sleeves, all sorts of options. Okay, let's talk a little bit about button-up shirts. Button-up shirts have got a very special place in my heart because this was my aha moment. This was my moment when I realized that sewing was truly a superpower, and it was it got me hook, line, and sinker. Because it's also the garment that I first learned about a full bust adjustment and what that meant and what that meant for my body. I've never been able to buy a button-up shirt, or very rarely been able to buy a button-up shirt in ready to wear, because in order for it to fit my bust, it would be huge on my sleeves, and in order for it to sit correct on my shoulder, it would be way too small. I mean, all the gaping, all the things. So I always wanted to be into button-up shirts. I felt like my aesthetic, my style leans a little bit classic lines. I like a lot of color, but I do love a good classic silhouette. And button-up shirts and blazers, those are all part of that aesthetic, and I just could never find those in ready-to-wear. When I learned about the full bust adjustment and got my first button-up shirt to fit me properly, I mean, my head exploded. All of a sudden, I'm like, this is amazing. I can make whatever I want to fit my body and have whatever style I want. I am no longer beholden to what the stores put out. I can create what I want to wear and the colors I want to wear and the fabrics I want to wear. So this was my unlocking. And obviously it goes way beyond button-up shirts now, but this was the unlocking for me. So the button-up shirts have a very special place in my heart. And I have made so many different patterns, and I've got so many different ones to talk about here. So we got to dig in here. We're going to be talking about patterns a little bit. Maybe there's one here that strikes your fancy that seems like one you might want to try. We're going to talk about fabrics and how choosing fabric can give us a different feel and look, as well as some different things we can do to a shirt to then make it ours, to give it a little bit of a different twist. And then finally, I'm going to talk about, once you have learned how to make a button-up shirt, other things that it unlocks, what those sewing skills unlock for other types of garments that you can make as well. But before we get into that, I do want to tell you, Cloth Edit and Tamlin from is it Yorkshire Sew Girl, are doing the Sew April Blouse 25 challenge again this month, and I'm actually going to be part of that vlogger tour. Today isn't my day, but I'll be later in the month. But sew along with us. Shirts absolutely count as a blouse for the month of April. You can also make, shirts like this. They don't have to have buttons either. So there's many different options of things that you can make for your blouse. But if you're curious to try a button-up shirt, it would be a fantastic one to make for that challenge. And I wanted to tell you about it earlier in the month, so you have a whole month to make it. It runs the whole month of April. And again, I do have a stop on the vlogger tour, but it's not until a little bit later in the month. So definitely one. I'll have a link down for all the information, the details on the challenge down below if you're curious. Okay, patterns. So a button-up shirt, pretty basic. Like I said, most of them get sewn the same way. There'll be a difference if you have a camp collar versus a collar and collar stand. A camp collar is a collar that just gets sewn onto the neckline. That does have a collar stand. That just gets sewn onto the neckline of the shirt, and it doesn't have the little stand part, such as this one. When you've got the little stand that's in there, and then the collar folds over. They all pretty much go together the same. Doing a tower placket, which is a placket on the sleeve that kind of looks like this, versus a continuous bias placket, which looks a little bit more like this. It's a piece of bias tape that gets sewn to finish that off. All can be dictated on maybe the types of fabric you're using and that sort of thing. But for all intents and purposes, a button-up shirt goes together pretty much the same time every time. You may have additional darts on one. You may be doing princess seams instead of darts. But for the most part, they all go together pretty similarly. I love sewing a button-up shirt. They're very methodical. I love it when I'm doing a very tailored one where I want to top stitch everything. I love it when I'm doing maybe more of a blouse version where I don't want to do any top stitching. I love how cleanly you can finish off the inside of a button-up shirt, whether that's doing French seams on the inside. There's a lot of burrito technique that happens with the yoke. I do a burrito technique with the collar. A lot of the inside of a button-up shirt gets finished off really cleanly, with the exception of your side seam and underarm seam. That's where you may want to put in your where your sleeve attaches to your bodice as well. That's where you may want to do a flat fell seam or a French seam. A lot of times I just sew and serge and then top stitch, which is a faux flat fell, but completely up to you. They're just a lot of fun to sew. So I want to go over a few patterns that I have used in the past, why I like them, and for what reasons that I really like them. And I've pulled shirts from everyone in my family's closet. And I don't even have them all here anymore. My son just went through a growth spurt, and we just donated to my nephews a couple of shirts that I've made for him that just no longer fit. So we'll talk about them, but I don't have them here to show you. So first things first, we have got the Aria. The Aria is today's Feature Friday pattern. It is kind of a little bit more of a relaxed shirt. The Aria features a yoke with a pleat here in the back, which is very typical for a button-up shirt. It does have a collar and a collar stand, but they're actually one pattern piece, which is a little unique to most button-up shirt patterns. You've got your button placket down the front. This pattern does feature a long sleeve, a short sleeve, sleeveless, and you can also make it into a dress. But if you do the long sleeve, which is the more traditional, it features a cuff and then pleats into the cuff and then a tower placket, which is, this isn't buttoned, the tower placket looks like a tower. I have made it in a couple of different fabrics here. So structured fabric, you're going to give you a more tailored look. It's going to stand away from the body a little bit more, that sort of thing. But if you make it in a drapier fabric, such as a rayon twill. It's going to fit more like a blouse, for lack of a better word. It's going to be a little bit more drapier, fall in on itself, and be a little bit swingier. Typically, I like to finish my drapier fabrics off, the placket off with the bias placket, which is different than the tower placket that comes with this pattern. But I went ahead and I interfaced it and went ahead and did the tower placket on this one, and I think it looks fine. I just really love this shirt. And it's brand new. Yeah, anyway, this is the Aria. It's a great, more relaxed type button-up shirt. Really lovely. If you would like more information on choosing, we're going to talk a little bit about fabric here, but choosing what type of fabric, I'm actually on the Love Notions channel today, and I will leave that video linked down below as well. So if you want to go over to Love Notions, I'm talking about how fabric can play a role in choosing and how a garment feels. Not necessarily fits, but how it feels, which some people can often confuse with fit. You know, something a little more constricting, a little looser, whatever the case may be. But I'm talking about that all over on the Love Notions channel today. All right, next up, we have got the Cashmerette Vernon shirt. I love this pattern. It comes with a really fun, like, lantern sleeve that you can do. I've only done that one once. And then a really exaggerated collar if you want to go that route. I've only ever made the regular size collar. But again, it's got the yoke. It's got the pleat in the back. Its sleeves are finished off with a very narrow cuff and then the continuous bias placket, which looks like this. So when this is buttoned, it kind of falls in over on itself. Like that. This probably needs to be ironed, but yeah, so that's the difference in the plackets that are there. You can use the thicker cuff that go with the lantern sleeve on this pattern, and I have done that before in the past. You just need to shorten the sleeve a little bit so that it fits the same length. But anyway, love this, and it's great for curvy sewists because all the cuff sizes. It's got a huge size range. Another shirt pattern. If you are looking for a commercial pattern that is fantastic, Simplicity 1538. I think I'm saying that right. I'll pop the pattern up so you guys can see. But love that pattern. I have to do quite a bit of adjustments to the commercial patterns, and I did. But it does have a lot of options, and there's a lot of really good ways to kind of make it yours and different details you can put on this pattern included in the pattern. So it's a great Simplicity pattern, and I love this one. This one is made in a silk crepe. And it's got just a really lovely flowy drape. It's also finished off with that continuous bias placket and a thinner cuff. But I love this shirt. It's a fun, bright color and that sort of thing. This Vernon is a cotton lawn. Another great fabric to use for button-up shirts. Another big four pattern that is one that I've made a long time ago. And I actually did a series on it. It's Vogue 8977. I think I'm saying that right. Again, I'll pop the pattern up. It's just a really good, more tailored, close-fitting shirt. So it has got waist darts in addition to bust darts. I have a couple of versions here because you can make it with a collar or with the pussy bow, and which is a really nice little different option to do there, which I have done on this option. But it's just more tailored in that it's a little bit more close and fitted to the body. So if it's a shirt that you're wanting to wear under a jacket or something, a vest, a great option, and it's a really good pattern. It's been out for quite a while. But this one is made in a silk crepe, and this one is in a Liberty cotton lawn, which is delightful. And this one's a really old, I mean, these are old, like I made these a long time ago. I don't wear this one as much. It's a little bit fancy. I really love it because it's got this digital print that looks like jewels on it, and the sepia colors. I got the fabric from Minerva a while ago. Anyway, great pattern. Another good one is the Liesl & Co. Classic shirt. This is actually my daughter's because I ruined my white classic shirt with marinara sauce. But this is the one that I made for her, which is why it's also super wrinkly. Another great pattern. It also features the yoke, and it's got two little back pleats that are on the side, a little bit more menswear inspired. It also has the tower placket. I'm not as crazy about the way she does the side seams on this pattern, and I've actually changed them to be more like the side seams on these other patterns. I don't like how she has you stopping and clipping into the seam allowances, so I did change that. But other than that, it does come with cup sizes, and I've had really good success with this shirt pattern as well. Another really good fitted one, and this is from the Cashmere Club. This is the Swanton, and actually this one is the one that fits me. I made this shirt a while ago, and I used my projector, and the sleeves ended up being way too small because I did not calibrate properly, and I gave that shirt to my daughter, but I've remade it for myself, and this is the one that actually fits me. I just finished making this, so very exciting. But this pattern is one of their club patterns, but you can use, and technically it has the pussy bow that's on the neckline of this one, or a collar stand, I think. But it can also be interchanged with the Vernon, which is what I did here. So this one fits a little closer to the body. It's got princess seams in the front and then darts in the back. But I put the Vernon sleeve on it because it's a short sleeve pattern. And then the Vernon, no, I didn't use the Vernon collar. I take that back because there's a collar stand option with this pattern. It is the Swanton collar stand that I just stuck a ruffle into. So another really good pattern. I love cashmere patterns. You guys know that. Okay, other options. If you are a little leery about diving headfirst into everything to do with a full-on button-up shirt, start with something that's a little bit simpler. This is the Itch to Stitch Nasara. So it's got your yoke with the pleats in the back, yes, and then a collar and collar stand, but it's a dolman sleeve. So you don't have to mess with the sleeves and the sleeve packets and the cuffs and all of that. The only, new technique would probably be the collar and collar stand. A great place to start. And there are a few different shirt options like this with a dolman sleeve. Love Notions has the Melody Dolman that is a camp style collar. There's another one that's in the Cashmere Club. If you're all access member, you can get access to it. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but I actually have a sew along for it. But it's the camp style collar, but also a dolman sleeve that just takes a little bit of that stress out of, doing a full on button up shirt. A good starter. Seamwork also has one that Jenny made that's got a camp collar called the West, I think. You'll be seeing that here soon because she has dived into shirt making as well. And then finally, if you're looking for something a little more gender neutral or for the men in your life, there are some really great button-up shirt patterns as well. Love Notions does have the band camp shirt, both for males and females. It's a camp style shirt that has a set-in sleeve, though, not a dolman sleeve. It's a set-in sleeve, but it's a short sleeve. Anyway, I made one for my son, but he's outgrown it, so that one went. But it's a really great pattern, and I highly recommend. Also, Wardrobe by Me. I love Wardrobe by Me patterns for my guys, and they have the tropical shirt, which is what this one is, that fits him really well. In fact, I'll be using this pattern for a new shirt that I'm going to be making him. You guys have seen the fabric, but it's kind of that, got rainbows and like a tropical setting on it and stuff. But fabulous pattern for the men in your life. And then finally, my favorite men's button-up shirt pattern is the Thread Theory Fairfield. It is just a really lovely, like industry perfect tailored men's shirt. I've made them for both my boys, both my husband and my son, and it's just a really good men's button-up shirt pattern. Okay. So that's kind of it. So this is a hand, like a yarn dyed woven cotton. This is a quilting cotton. This is a cotton poplin, similar to a quilting cotton. This is a denim weight shirting. This is a cotton shirting that from StyleMaker, and she's got it in a ton of colors. It's a really good one. So those are the fabrics that I tend to gravitate toward when making my shirts. Now, again, I've got that whole video on Love Notions if you want me to hear me talking a little bit more about fabric and how that plays a part in this when we're deciding what we're going to make, pairing fabric and patterns together. Okay. Another thing that I really love about button-up shirts is the ability to customize things. Case in point, this is a dupe of a Bowden shirt, and I just added a ruffle. I did a video on it for the one that didn't fit me, but I added a ruffle to the button placket here, and I just added a ruffle to the top of the collar stand and to the edge of the sleeves, and it makes it a completely different type of shirt. I also love finishing, well, you can't really see here, but I finish off all the hems on my button-up shirts with bias tape. I just think that it hugs the curves because a lot of times with your button-up shirts, you've got a very curved hem. And I love the way bias tape hugs. And it's a great opportunity for, let me find one that's got a fun one. Well, this one. It's a great opportunity to have just a little pop of color that only you can see. So here I've used bias tape that is in this magenta color. silk actually. So it's a really fun way just to kind of make it yours. You can also do contrasting fabrics on your plackets, on your sleeves if you want to. Different fabrics on the inside of your collars, the inside of that collar stand for something kind of different. The one side of your cuff, you know, you see men's shirts and women's shirts, when they roll the cuff, it's a contrasting fabric on the inside of that cuff. So many different ways that you can customize your shirts to really fit not only your body, but also your style and aesthetic, which I love. And finally, when we have mastered the button-up shirt, the doors, it is kind of a unlocking level of sewing skill. So once you can do a button-up shirt, guys, you can do a shirt dress. So whether that is just a straight shirt dress with no waist definition, or if it's the bodice that's then attached to a skirt where you've got waist definition, or you're adding elastic, shirt dresses, absolutely, they're done the same way as any of these button-up shirts. And shackets are pretty big still. Jackets, jean jacket styles, all very similar to the same way that you would make a button-up shirt. Lots of overlapping techniques. So once you have mastered some of the techniques that come with button-up shirts, it really opens up a world of new designs and different things that you can make. You know, once you've mastered a sleeve placket, especially a tower sleeve placket, it's the same technique as if you were doing a placketed shirt. So a shirt that only goes down, you know, about here, that has a placket instead of a full button placket. It's just got a partial placket is what I'm trying to say. The placket's done the same way. It's just upside down. You know, where the placket goes up on the sleeve, it goes down the other way. So I highly recommend, if you have not tried a button-up shirt, to try one here soon. Try one of these patterns. Again, you can use any of these patterns with my shirt making class. I will hold your hand walking you through how to do a button-up shirt from start to finish, and the different techniques, so you can kind of pick and choose depending on the shirt that you want to make for your wardrobe. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Get some sewing in, and I'll see you guys again next week.